were actually spending the weekend up in Northern Virginia, and I got this as a rental option. They didn't have any electric vehicles, so I decided to go with a 4xe, mainly because I wanted to take it off maybe off-road and also have a gasoline-powered vehicle, just in case. I wasn't really sure. I couldn't find a lot of charging options up here. I did find a few charge points. I also found a few Electrify America, and of course Tesla chargers everywhere, but Avis did not have any Teslas available. So I went with something that I'm familiar with because I did own a Wrangler when they first came out with this body style, the JL version in 2008. And also I had a 2023 Gladiator Mojave. So I'm very familiar with the Wrangler family and the Jeep family. I went with this because I just wanted to have fun a little bit with, the ruggedness of a Jeep Wrangler. And it might be a little noisy. I'm not sure if the microphone is picking this up, but we're close to the airport out here. But clearly this is a rental and it has been properly used because it's very, very dirty. It's got some mud in some places down here. But let's take a quick walk around and check this out. Here's the charge port for the battery portion of this vehicle. It's not a Tesla charger, but it doesn't have the DC fast charging option either. So it is a very, very slow charging speeds for these type of vehicle. Best to charge them overnight, especially at home. It gives you a little more information right here. Tells you the indicator once you have it plugged in. Has a little Easter egg right there with the old school Jeep going up the hill. You can tell this is really filthy. And also another indicative that this is a electric powertrain or a hybrid powertrain is all the blue accents you see with the trail rated badge right there, the Jeep logo, and also the Rubicon. I'm actually surprised they had a Rubicon option on a rental company. But either ways, let's take a quick walk around here. It is pretty tall. It's about, I believe it's about 12 inches of clearance. It does have your skid plates down here at the bottom, but also right here on the side. So in case you go rock crawling, you don't actually damage the body. It'll actually just hit that metal piece. This is a 33-inch all-terrain KO2 BF Goodrich tires. These are very quiet on the road, but also do really, really well when you're taking them off-road as well. Now, being that this is a 4xe, here's your gas, where you pour your gas in here. And in case you're not sure if this is a 4xe, it tells you right there on the badge with the E that looks like a plug and also the blue accents in here as well. It does have a spare tire, which is pretty cool. It's full spare tire for this Wrangler, and also a backup camera all the way back here. So pretty cool. Got LED lights as well, which I'm, again, surprised that a rental company has one of these. So let's go ahead and take a quick look. Actually, since we're back here, at the back part of this Wrangler. So it does have a swing gate. Gives you some cool Easter eggs down here for the JL. This is a little area that you can actually install different products to it. Again, I'm very familiar with the Jeep products because I had two of them for a couple of years before I switched to a fully electric Model Y, which no regrets on that. I absolutely love my Model Y, but every once in a while I do miss having a Wrangler to take it off-road. So you got a swing gate right here, and then you have this glass partition up here that you have to open, but you do have to open this first and then that second. So here's the space you have for your trunk space. You do have a 12-volt plug right here. You can also remove the top here. I'm not going to do that, obviously. It is a rental. I also don't have anywhere to store this. It does have a little storage cubby right here. There is your portable plug right here. So if I wanted to charge this at home, or if I had availability to plug this somewhere, I have the plug right here. And if I really wanted to take the top off, here is the toolkit to get all the bolts of the hardtop for this Jeep. And that's your cover for your tow hitch. One thing that I want to mention while I'm back here is the space. You guys see this right here? It doesn't actually lay all the way flat. I'll show you guys that in just a second. Let's go ahead and back here. Now, this has a battery pack right down here. It's underneath the rear seats. You can see it once you flip up the seats right here. That's basically the battery that's powering the hybrid part of this vehicle, or if you want to take it and drive it in purely electric. Now, this being a very, very big battery pack, let me see if I can get this other part. One-handed, awesome. This massive battery does add a lot of weight to this vehicle. It makes it about 5,200 pounds or so, just because of this extra battery, plus obviously all the components that are in this vehicle besides the engine and all the off-road goodies that this thing has. But this massive battery only gives you about 20 to 21 miles on purely electric. Combined with the gas power, you do get about over 300 miles of gas and electric combined. But that's where this is. Now, the bad thing about this is when you want to put all your seats down, you don't have a flat surface completely. You have this part right here that's really kind of preventing you from making this one flat surface because of the battery that's behind there. Let's go ahead into the driver's side and check out the front end real quick. The cool thing about this, it does have grab handles, which I do enjoy that because this is a pretty tall vehicle. Not that tall, but for somebody like me. Right here in your door handles, pretty beefy looking handles. Your mirror controls are right here, and then lock and unlock. Your window controls, well, there aren't any window controls here, mainly because your window controls are right here in the center. Why? Because you can take off these doors and take it off-road or go to the beach without any doors. Before we get too far into it, let's check out the powertrain options and the flexibility that having a battery and engine on this vehicle gives you. You can drive it in hybrid mode, and that'll combine both the battery and the 2.0 liter turbo engine that it's in this Wrangler 4xe. Or if you want to take a quiet drive, just like an electric vehicle, you can manually put it to electric only. And this will only give you about 20 to 21 miles on purely electric charge. Or if you want to save the battery, you can just put on e-save and it'll just run on that 4-cylinder engine entirely, and it'll save the battery. So if you want to maybe drive from home to an off-road trail on gasoline and then save the battery for maybe like the 6-mile trail ride that you're going to be on in pure electric power, you can save the battery until you get to that trail and then switch it over to electric. Right here you have all your light controls, nothing too fancy. You can tell it's a 4xe because it's got blue accents throughout. You can see right there. I do like that it has a lot of tactile controls in here as well. You have your AC, your heater, cooler, dual climate control, and then right here you have your regenerative braking that you can activate and deactivate. It doesn't fully stop and hold the brakes like a Tesla Model Y or any Teslas or most other EVs. But what it'll do, it'll slow you down and basically use that to regenerate battery back into, or regenerate energy back into the battery, which, you know, so far I can see it in real time on the gauge cluster when I drove it from the airport to the hotel. Pretty interesting to see that in real time as you're doing that. But, and then all the way down here, you have all your off-road goodies for your lockers, your sway bar, because this is a Rubicon. You have your off-road plus, your sway bar disconnect, and if I had any lights or switches or any additional like ancillary pieces, I can all control them from here. But it's a rental, so there you go. All right, let's turn this puppy on real quick. You do have a button down here to turn it on. You have to push the brake and then hit that right there. Now, the interesting part about this is that, kind of like a electric vehicle, it doesn't make any noise. It just turns on everything you see here. It's a little deceiving, especially if you're used to turning a Wrangler on and you hear that V6 engine, or if you have an older model with a V8 engine on there. I don't know if you guys can hear that or the mic picked it up, but the engine just kicked on because, well, we don't have a lot of battery at all, actually. We have 0 miles on the battery, 0 range, negative 1% right there. But on gas, we have 242 miles left on the tank, which is pretty cool. The other thing that's in here that's very interesting is there's these visual lights right here. So when you plug it in, these turn on, and basically once all 4 of these lights are on, it's either up to charge completely to 100%, or it tells you, you know, how far into the charging you are. I did check that out last night when I was charging at a charge point location. It was taking forever to charge it, so I didn't really spend a whole lot of time. I probably spent about 45 minutes charging it, and it got me about 11 to 14% battery, which was really about 3 miles or 4 miles or so. Not a great charging speed, not that great of range for the amount of time that I was there. Obviously, if this had DC fast charging, then yeah, I would get a lot more out of it. It tells you your power and also your charge, especially when you're using regenerative braking, is, you know, your RPMs, your just stuff that you don't see in a fully electric vehicle like Tesla. Also down here, you see that I have the regenerative braking turned on. I can turn that off. You can see that right there. And then your touch screen, very different than Tesla's. You do have a lot of apps and windows in here. Not the most intuitive, and maybe it's because I'm so used to my Tesla now. And even the 2 Jeeps that I owned before did not have this massive screen that's right here. But in here, you have all your touchscreen controls. You also have your rear camera, which is kind of weird because it only gives you half of the screen, even though this entire screen is the screen. But when you have the backup camera, I guess the pixels are only big enough to cover this section of the screen. Not that great. I don't know. You do have Apple CarPlay in here. I haven't connected it yet. You have your comfort option in here, which is basically your AC. So you can do all of these, right? It doesn't have the like the Tesla with, you know, controlling the direction of the air conditioner, because it has old school manual controls right here. And again, it's the redundancy. It's kind of cool because you have them up here, but then also you have your AC controls right here as well. You can see that I can control them here, or I can just control them on the screen as well. You can sync it, you can do that, circulate inside the vehicle, or just do it down here as well. You can pair your phone, you can do wireless Apple CarPlay, or you can plug it in to one of these ports right here, and it'll just connect it wired through the screen as well. I feel like I'm doing a tutorial on a Jeep Wrangler, but going into the settings in here, the vehicle settings, you have your e-hybrid. So it gives you your battery save because it's selected, or battery charge options. You can see the power flow. So when you're connected to charging, you can see the battery being charged in this screen right here. It also tells you the hybrid mode, tells you, you know, how many kilowatts the engine is producing, also the battery, or if your climate in the vehicle is producing or charging or taking charge from the battery. Then you have your driving history. So it gives you all your engine and battery usage for the previous week, and also for the current week as well. And then regenerative braking, or regenerative history braking, it gives you that information right here, how many kilowatts per hour in the current week this has generated in here, which is pretty cool. You know, I know you can see that on the Tesla. I feel like this is a little easier to read because you can see your kilowatts per hour here, and then how much you're getting here, versus the Tesla one that gives you that graph that just kind of goes up and down, and it's a little bit kind of wonky because it breaks it up into 5, 10, and 30 miles or something like that. I can't remember. Schedules, I'm not really sure what this is for. I guess this is when you're scheduling your plug-in charges, as long as the plug is already connected to it. You have your off-road pages. It gives you your steering angle, so you can see your transfer case, sway bar disconnect, is it connected or disconnected? Your front axle lockers, it's unlocked because, well, we haven't locked them down here, and your sway bar connections are right there as well, and then your rear lockers as well. All right, beyond that, you have your accessory gauges. Pretty cool. Again, you're not going to find this like this in a Tesla, because this has an actual engine, an ICE engine, and it gives you all your coolant temperature, oils, pressures, transmission temperature, and also your battery, your 12-volt battery that's in there as well. And when you're taking this thing off-road, it does give you your pitch and roll on here as well, which is pretty cool. Again, this is very, very unique to any off-road type vehicles like this Wrangler. The touchscreen is very easy and responsive. I don't know, it feels a little redundant because some of these options are already in some of these other options right here. Not my favorite thing. Feels like it's a little too much for what this vehicle's supposed to be. You know, things are changing, the consumers are changing. People love the ruggedness of a Jeep Wrangler, but they also like the comfort of, you know, having a higher end vehicle, even though for this one right here, you guys can see it is a cloth material. Now, I've had both cloth and leather in my previous Jeeps, and I will have to admit that the leather option for these Jeeps gets super hot, especially in the summer in that Florida sun. With the cloth, yeah, it is a little easier to get on, especially in those hot days. But when it gets dirty, you need some kind of power washer or some kind of extra cleaning to get this cloth clean. The other thing with the cloth, and I'll tell you that this is from my experience, is that it does get smelly. These seats get very, very smelly versus the leather seats. Those are easier to clean as soon as they get dirty. Besides that, this is a throwback to the past, but you know what I keep doing? I keep going up here and trying to gear select, drive forward. I'm sorry, driving forward is the same thing, but reverse and drive up here every time I'm parking, and I keep forgetting that this big beefy gear selector is down here. But this is how you select your gears, park, reverse, neutral, or if you want to get festive and put it in manual mode. There you go. It activated the 4-cylinder turbo engine when I put this on there. But this is really useful only when you're taking it off-road and you want to control the pace of the off-road options that are in this car. The other thing that's also in here that's I haven't seen one or felt one of these in a long time is the manual e-brake. That's it. Let's check out the engine real quick. Now, to get into the engine, there's nothing inside you open. It's just simply these little latches right here. I'm going to try this by one hand. And trying to avoid the bug splatters. There's the engine bay. And what is this? Okay. So it looks like a bird might have tried to nest inside the engine. This must be really comfy for birds. But there's your 2.0 turbo engine. You can tell this rental has been taken off-road a few times. There's the right there where the orange cord is. That's basically feeding into the plug-in section, and all that goes in through the engine bay into the actual battery that's in the back. But yeah, this is pretty much the turbo engine this thing comes with. Not a whole lot of locking security on this engine bay, but there you go. You have your LED lights, you have your tow hooks right here, your fender flares to kind of give you a little more travel when you're going off-road. Oh, yeah, I forgot to show you guys this. So if you are familiar with Jeeps, you can just open your gas tank manually, but because this is a hybrid, it does have a button to open up your gas tank back here, and it has something to do with the pressurization of that. I don't really understand it, to be honest, but somehow if that's not working, your car is not going to work. This being a newer Jeep, everything's manual. This is how you control your pitch on your seat, your bolster. You have the strap for the back part of the seat here, and down here you've got the lever to move the seat up and down. So very old school mixed with some new school technology. Makes it very, very, very interesting of a vehicle to drive. And then of course you have your hardtop. You can take off these two panels in the front and drive with the top opened. You can take the back part too, but well, it's a rental, so I'm not taking that off. I'm not used to having a key to lock my car. I'm used to having my Tesla app to control the opening and control pretty much everything about the car using the Tesla app. Let me know in the comments below, what do you guys think of the Wrangler 4xe? Is it a good option for daily driving? Would you purchase that? Would you trade in your Tesla for the hybrid Wrangler? Or simply just leave a comment below. Let me know what you guys think. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.